Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be an over-the-road truck driver 2 years ago, hauling a trailer full of automotive glass from Chillicothe, Ohio to Boise, Idaho, driving Interstate 90 through Montana around 3 o'clock, running out of hours to drive on. Only about 45 minutes left before I have to stop driving. I can't find any nearby truck stops in the directory. I see an exit sign a few miles ahead for a small town, most likely a ranch access road. I get off the ramp, drive across the road, and park the truck on the side of the on-ramp. It's illegal to do, but a trooper would prefer me sleeping on the side of the road than sleeping in a ditch. I'm sitting in the truck typing several reports into the Qualcomm computer. GPS suddenly gives an error. Lost satellite signal. Qualcomm suddenly gives an error. Lost satellite signal. Qualcomm beeps with another error. Signal lost. I think it's a strange coincidence, even though I've never seen the signal lost light come on before. I reset the computer and go into the sleeper while I'm waiting for it to boot up. The sleeper overhead light shuts off, and the low power alarm sounds. What the fuck? .jpg. The side light in the back dims out and shuts off. I jump into the front of the truck and try to start the engine because I thought my battery was dead. No, the truck has no power. I open the door, climb down, and stand between the trailer and the truck to pee. I haven't seen another vehicle in at least an hour. I climb back into the truck and shut the door. I reach for my phone to call dispatch, when suddenly I get bombarded with beeps and lights flashing. Qualcomm turned back on, interior lights back on, dash lights on. I turn the key and the engine turns over. In the split second between turning the key on and turning it to start, my headlights illuminated the ramp ahead of me. I could have sworn I saw someone standing on the shoulder 100 yards up. When the motor started, the lights turned back on. Someone was standing 10 feet from the front of my truck. I literally screamed and jumped, smacking my head on the storage bin above me. I supply air to the brake systems. I hammer the truck into gear and start rolling forward. As I'm rolling forward, I see that it's a man standing on the side of the ramp. He's turning his head to follow me as I drive past him. He's fucking smiling. I super shift as fast as I can. I get up to 62.5 miles per hour in seconds flat, governed. I park at a truck stop an hour away. I still don't know if that was paranormal or some guy was just planning on murdering me. And that's how I received my first safety citation from the Department of Transportation.
Not exactly driving related, but there's an orange light that has been hovering around my town for the past 3 to 4 years. It follows non-orbit patterns and basically behaves like a rotary aircraft, but it's completely silent and gets pretty damn low at times. I'd reckon about 200 meters off the ground. However, it's always at night, so it is hard to gauge. A few summers ago, we used to drive to this lake about 10 miles away and hang out. Teenager bullshit. And a couple times this thing would show up, circle us for a half hour or so, and then start to come in, low and fast. There was one time when the bright orange light turned off as it got close, revealing a set of dim running lights on the structure. Once again, it was dark and tough to make out, but it was definitely much closer than any kind of aircraft or helicopter. We watched this for about 10 seconds as it got closer. Some of my friends started running to their cars. I decided to stay and watch to see what happened. And then the running lights switched off, and I could vaguely make out the shape getting even lower and got closer. We all freaked and sped out of there as quickly as we could at that point. I haven't seen people that scared since. It's like that deep, primordial fear you experience once in a blue moon. Not good. We see it once in a while now. Last summer, I went out behind my house for a smoke to see the same light circling my neighborhood. I couldn't shake the sense it was tracking me as I moved around my house to get a better look at it. Bad times. We still don't know what it is, and we're all fairly skeptical academics, not the kind to get worked up over bullshit. I really believe this is definitely something abnormal. I just recently returned to town for my winter break from university, and my good friend told me tonight that he's seen it recently. So we'll see what it decides to do this time around. Rural southeastern Connecticut.
B from Maine, driving back from work. Around 11 p.m., cool summer night, driving by the town park when I noticed this man. He's sitting on a bench with his thumb sticking out. I pull up next to him and ask if he needs help. He's old, easily 70 plus. He asks if he could have a ride. I help him into the car and ask where he's heading. He lives kind of far, but I'm willing to help. The entire time he just looked out the passenger window. I try starting a conversation by asking him about his house. He starts talking about his wife, who I assumed has passed. He talked about how much he loved and cared for her, and how long they were married for, and what they both achieved in their lives together. The entire drive there, he never made eye contact with me. His voice was very soft as he spoke. About 30 to 40 minutes pass and we arrive at his house. I pull into the driveway and ask if this is the place. He only nods. I ask him if he's going to be okay and if he needs any more help. He turns to me, his eyes full of tears. The words he said next will forever stick with me. She found someone else. He gave me a nod and mouthed the words, "Thank you." I helped him get out of the car and walked him to the front door. I saw him go into the house as I got back into my car. Not really paranormal, but I'm not going to lie, it stuck with me for a while. I don't know what really happened that night, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that his wife of many years was cheating on him and he found out that night. I have no clue how he got so far from home without a car, but I was happy to help him out. This was about 2 years ago, and to this day I still wonder what happened to him. I might drive by his place today to see if he's still around.
I was driving from San Antonio to Sioux Falls, South Dakota a few years ago. Shortly after I crossed into Nebraska, I drove through a small town. I can't remember the name of the town, but I think the sign said it had a population of like 3,000 or so. Anyways, I wasn't paying complete attention at first, and it wasn't until I had to stop at a red light that my creepy sensors started going off. There was literally no one in this town. Now it wasn't some rundown ghost town. No, this was a fully functional typical Midwest podunk town. Now I could have shrugged off the fact that I didn't see anyone around. But as I started to take everything in, I saw that there were cars sitting in the other lanes turned off with no one in them. The creepiest thing was a car in a parking lot of what was probably the town's only grocery store, with all of its doors open and a cart full of groceries just sitting next to the car unattended. Across the street from the grocery store was an old Shell gas station with cars sitting at the stalls. Then I noticed, besides there not being any people in this creepy-ass town, there was literally zero sign of life. I didn't even see birds in the sky. And the silence, holy crap. I probably could have heard a pin drop from a mile away. After what seemed like a ridiculously long red light, the signal finally turned green. I don't even know why I bothered to wait for it to turn green. I think I was just in awe of the creepiness of the situation. When I saw the green light, I noped the fuck out of there and didn't look back. It was like everybody dropped what they were doing and walked out of the town, or at least I hope that was the case, because any other explanation probably wouldn't be very pleasant. It also couldn't have been like that for long either, because everything looked fairly recently used and the cars appeared to be clean and somewhat newish. I can't remember the name. All I can remember is that it was in the very bottom right corner of Nebraska.
Hey guys. So the other day, I posted a story about seeing a carcass just get up and walk away on a desert road trip. It got me thinking, and there's actually a lot of creepy shit that happened on that trip. I have a workshop in about an hour, but I can try to share a few. So, kids, travel story incoming. We started driving east from Western Australia to New South Wales on the first day of a heat wave. We were kind of hurrying, but my dad still decided to make sure my sister and I had plenty of time to get out of the car for fear of those horror road trip fights. Family movies don't seem to get quite right. So, in the afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock if I had to say, we stopped at a truck stop, which had an old-fashioned dunny at the end of a long path that disappeared into the scrubland and a picnic table just by the road. So my sis and I went to the toilet as soon as we got out of the car. It must have been a 5 to 10 minute walk into the bush. When we came back, we ate our snacks, and my dad announced he was going to the toilet, and we should behave while he was gone. We nodded sweetly, and he left. For the first few minutes, we just played sluggishly. It was really hot, so we mainly sat in the shade, drawing in the dirt with sticks, when my sister asked, "What's that?" She was pointing down the road the way we had come. Through the shimmering haze of heat, we saw what I assumed was a mirage, although I of course articulated this as, "No, stupid, it's a trick," until it began to expand and take form. It was a bunch of Volkswagen Beetles. I shit you not, bumper to bumper, what must have been 60 old-style bugs crawled their way by the truck stop. We kind of stood there, watching them move slowly forward. They were all different colors, but I remember distinctly the windows were dark, and we could only see the shapes of the drivers. After several minutes, the huge line of cars passed and eventually disappeared on the other end of the road. My dad returned, and we excitedly told him about the car conga line. My dad was disbelieving, but I figured we would catch up with them as we drove down the highway. This road did not fork to my knowledge, and they had been driving very slowly. Needless to say, we never did, and my dad jokingly checked the bread he had used for our sandwiches for mold. The second story happened just before I got really sick. We were driving along the road when we happened across a dead kangaroo. Now, in the Australian outback, roadkill is the kind of thing you see near constantly, since many kangaroos go much of their lives without seeing a car or truck until they're becoming intimately acquainted with its grill. Usually the roadkill is old and pretty gross, but even at 11 and 8 respectively, my sister and I were still very conscious of the fact that the fresh ones may still have live joeys in their pouches. So this kangaroo was so fresh, the pool of blood had barely started clotting. My dad was cursing the white ute that had passed us not 2 minutes ago for hitting an animal and not stopping. Well, as we, being my dad and I, as Sis was busy reading, approached the body, we realized something was very wrong. The kangaroo wasn't bleeding from blunt trauma, but rather a slashed throat. That should have been enough to make us book it, but her pouch was bulging, and my dad wanted to check the Joey. Its pouch was full of shiny red apples. To this day, I feel struck by the peculiarity of that. But it was enough for my dad and I to walk really briskly back to the car. My dad was very insistent that I not tell my sister because, as I learned this morning, she had been spooked by noises outside the tent the night before, and he didn't want to make it worse. The evening after we found Apple Roo, I started to feel pretty sick. This happens every time I travel, and it is awful. I vomit everything I eat, and whatever gets through is liquid from the other end, accompanied by excruciating cramps. By the time my dad found out, we're far closer to his friend's place than ours, so he decides to persevere. Now I have to stop and evacuate my digestive orifices every few hours, and we start running way late. The day after I got sick, we're on the road way after dark, and it's really dark out, like so dark it's hard to see the sides of the road. We come up on this massive carcass splayed on the road. My dad doesn't want to stop since we're only 50 kilometers out of the next town, but fuck, I'm gonna vomit soon, so he decides to go check the thing on the roadside while I sprint to the nearest bush. And void. My dad was really frowning as he looked at the thing on the side of the road. I could smell the rot in it a good 20 meters away. I could tell it was big, but he told me later it was at least the size of a camel. It had been 2 days since I could properly replenish my fluids and electrolytes in a severe heat wave. By now, my body had really had enough, and while I was out there, I collapsed and began to convulse. At first, it was like everything turned sideways, then went black as I passed out. When I came to, my dad was standing over me. It had been a few minutes before he realized there had been a problem, and he came rushing over. As I oriented myself, I looked past him and saw the thing on the road standing up. I was really shaky, and its legs looked wasted, spindly, like a foal. When my dad looked over and saw it, he gasped. It didn't see us, or couldn't see us. It just kind of tottered over and was swallowed up by the darkness. My dad carried me back to the car and made me change my soiled clothes while we were moving. When I asked about it a few days later, he said it had definitely been dead. There had been fly larvae in its mouth. So, the last one is kind of weak to close with. We were sleeping in the car because all the accommodation in the little town we passed through was full. Fucking Christmas holidays. My sister and I are sleeping when Lou wakes me up and says she needs to pee, but doesn't want to go to the outhouse because she keeps hearing noises outside. Why she woke me and not Dad, I still don't know. Probably because he's grumpy. But anyway, so I get up and decide that, yup, I have to go too. Although I always have to go by this point. So we both pad towards the outhouse. It's this old kind of thing where someone basically used color-bond fencing around a chair with a hole in it and a long drop. Sis goes first, as I was going to need a few minutes. But when my turn comes, straight away I hear her running back to the car, and I suddenly, sitting in the pitch black except for a tiny keyring flashlight, feel as if I'm about to be snatched off the toilet. I start shrieking and crying. I'm in full-on panic mode by now. I keep shining the light everywhere, my heart pounding like a hammer. I finally get the nerve to fling open the door and sprint back to the car, only to find my sister dragging my dad back up the path. He finds me and looks at me, asking if I'm okay. Only then did my sister say that she saw a man come out from behind the outhouse, while I was in there. And I never heard a thing over my own terrified screams. So yeah, fuck road trips in Australia.
Weirdest story I can think of. Driving down a country road on the way back from a concert. I have a friend and his girlfriend in the back of the car. The passenger seat is full of my shit. I pull over for a second. I get out to take a piss. As soon as I step outside, I can hear engines. Lots of engines. What the fuck? It's like 2 in the morning and we're not that far from residential areas. The engines are roaring. I can smell diesel through the tree line. I get in the car and take off, the door still open. I hear their engines cut off. Silence. My friends are getting antsy. They tell me to floor it. I do. Maybe 20 meters from where we were and already pushing 30 miles per hour. I resume the tunes and smoking. A fucking tank of a Jeep crashes through the tree line on the left. No lights. It looks messed up. It misses us by inches. I drove all the way home checking my mirror for a tank Jeep with no lights.
Driving to Western with 3 friends to party with Buddy. Middle of the day. Corn to the left and right. Absent-mindedly listening to music. No idea how far we are. Ahead, I see a dirt road break off from the road. Weird. It's a 4-lane highway. Not exactly stopping traffic, middle of flippin' nowhere, friend has to pee, etc. So we get out on the side of the road near where the dirt road extends into the cornfield. Walk over to dirt road. Look. Road extends for 2 to 3 miles into corn. At the end of a road was a giant-ass cross. We were a good distance away, but I could tell it was freaking tall. Meh. Keep driving. Get to Western. Wasted at Western. No designated driver because YOLO and highway is straight lol. Coming back. See same road, look down the road, cross is glowing red. Not on fire, glowing red. Like someone put just the red Christmas lights on that bizzle. Pull over because the youngest friend is a tweak about DUIs, and I want to see what all this glowing cross humbug is about. Drunk adventure time, guys. Grab a machete from the car. Assume safe because we're all 6'3", 220 pounds, and drunk. Trek 3/4 of the way there, we go into stealth mode. My friends are still thinking the clan went green and this is just a reusable burning cross. Cross is in the middle of a grass clearing about 100 feet across. Sneaking towards the clearing, we all stop and move into the corn to stay sneaky. Reach edge of clearing. Cross is, in fact, a shit ton of red lights. But professionally built, I'd say. No one around the cross. Eerie silence. Friend is about to step into the clearing when I say that I see someone. Across the clearing from us, a middle-aged looking man comes out of the corn, dressed normally. Sigh of relief. Stayed crouching, though. Laugh quietly with Buddy next to me. Wait, why does this farmer have a giant globe? I look up. In the 3 to 5 seconds it took that relieving exchange to happen, this guy moved across a 100-plus foot clearing instantly. He's 5 feet away. What was a perfectly calm night turned into a windstorm. We booked it the few miles back. Every time we stop to catch our breath, we start hearing rustling in the corn and in our jimmies. I saw the guy walking at a brisk pace behind us until we lost him. It was still creepy as shit. I'm never going to Western again.
Driving home one night from a relative's house at 2 a.m. 1-hour drive through state game land. Snowing. Rear-wheel drive. My tires are pretty much bald, so no way I'm gonna have traction if it gets too bad. I'm driving over a hill before a huge straightaway with an intersection at the end. Just as I crest the hill, I see daytime lights in the middle of the road just before the intersection. What is a car doing blocking the road at 2 in the morning? Eventually, I roll up about 15 feet from a pickup truck, blocking both lanes. Nobody is in it. Suddenly, headlights appear in the woods off the road behind me. A truck pulls onto the road and blocks the road behind me. God damn it, I'm in some deep shit here. I can't pass because of the snow built up on the side of the road. I reach into the glove box for my handgun and a magazine. I chamber around and hold the gun out of sight. I'm looking in the rearview mirror and into the woods to see if anyone gets out of the truck behind me. After 2 minutes, some dude bro comes out of the woods and hops into the empty truck. The truck behind me takes off in the direction I came from. The truck in front follows after him. Keep in mind, if you're gonna fuck with someone in the woods, there's a really high chance you'll wind up getting shot.
I've got 2. Years ago in high school. My mom picked me up from a friend's house who lived way out in the middle of nowhere. We were getting closer to the main road, but still on the shitty side road. We came around a bend. My mom let out a gasp, grabbed my arm, and asked me if I just saw that. A huge black hairy thing hunched over a dead deer on the side of the road eating it. Bigger than any dog I've ever seen. Could have been a bear in all honesty, but still very startling. This one is creepier and made me very paranoid to drive at night. This past summer, I was visiting my parents for a weekend. They asked me to take my brothers and little cousin to the drive-in. Sure, cool. We'll go see the new Fast and Furious. The movie went awesome. Everyone had fun. We were driving back and it was 1 a.m. Eventually, all the movie traffic petered off, and it was just us. I have this habit of constantly watching the rear views at night. I noticed a big truck with one of those light racks come up from behind. I shrugged. Rural area, lots of people have those for hunting. I sped up a little. I don't like tailgaters. The truck kept speeding up to stay just enough behind. I started panicking. They were just staying slightly behind us. I turned up our home road. I was still watching them, but their lights all went out. I could still see them following in the lights cast from the houses on the road. I started freaking out because it's pitch black and there are deer. Why would this person turn their lights off and still follow? I told my brothers and cousin to just get to the house. We'll grab everything in the morning. I was herding 3 kids. Go, go, go. My oldest brother went, "He stopped in the middle of the road right there." We sprinted to the house and crashed into the living room screaming. I told my stepdad and mom about it. He grabbed a gun, got in his car, and drove down the road. He didn't see anyone. I couldn't sleep that night. Still freaks me out thinking about it. I really think they knew I was a young person with 3 small kids and were trying to kidnap us or something.
Be me. I'm driving late at night for fun. I enjoy just driving about. It gets late. It's dark as fuck. I decided to take a shortcut on the way back. It's a single-lane road, pitch black, no lights whatsoever. This road is fucking never-ending. Bang! Flat tire. Oh, fuck. Are you fucking serious? Not now, not now. Thank God for spare tires and jacks. Good thing I have a huge flashlight. I replaced the car wheel, glad it's 1, not 2. I see a huge, obviously placed spike sticking out of the flat tire. As I'm done putting the wheel on, the bushes rustle. I hear a creepy "I'm a Christian you" voice say I shouldn't be alone out here at night. I'm shitting myself. I don't even look. Fuck the tire and jack. I bolt right into my car and start that shit and drive off. I see in the rear view mirror a bald man in a hoodie get a fucking gun out. A left bend comes up at the luckiest timing I've ever had. I make the fastest turn of my life. I hear the gunshot as I make that bend, but the spurg obviously missed thanks to the bend and me speeding off as fast as I could. I floor it along the straight road at 90. I refuse to ever drive out at night alone again, most terrifying moment of my life.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.